Good evening. Today is Thursday, February 19th. Time is 6 o'clock, and we call the regular board business meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Keller?
Here.
Ms. Mabry?
Here.
Ms. McIntosh?
Here.
Ms. Shepherd?
Here.
Mr. Ferguson?
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a recommendation to approve the agenda for this meeting.
I'll make a motion.
It's been motioned.
I'll second.
It's been properly seconded. Roll call, please.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, the agenda is approved. Next, I will turn it over to Dr. Howard for the recognition of the exemplars from STEM Solutions, OSLN Design Challenge, and Invention Convention.
Yes, thank you, President Ferguson. So one of the highlights of any board meeting is taking the opportunity to recognize outstanding students. And this evening, Principal Scott Bennett, if he can come up and help us recognize these outstanding students. As you had mentioned, they have participated in a STEM Solutions OSLN Design Challenge and Invention Convention. One other thing that we will highlight later on in the board meeting too is the number of local business partners that helped participate in this as well. So it's an awesome event, and so excited to highlight great accomplishments by many of our students here this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Howard. I'm Scott Bennett. I'm the principal at ECHS, and I have the pleasure this evening of recognizing some absolutely fantastic students and the good work that they did. Students, as I call your names, I'm going to ask you to come here to the front. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to wait and hand you your certificates tomorrow at school. I'm always kind of nervous at these things. I'm going to read a name wrong or hand the wrong certificate. So I'll promise you'll get your certificates, but as I call your name, I'm going to ask you to come here to the front, okay? So we're going to start with our STEM Solutions exemplars. So these are the students, the student groups that did the very best within our building for their particular group. So first of all, the group that was working with the Second Chance Thrift Store were Caitlin Loggeman, Carter Payne, Sophia Reams, and Joey Tarraco. And then our group working with Better Than Yesterday was Kennedy Amos, Kaylee Gutenberg, Andrew Cybers. Working with the Union County Health Department were Jaden Brake, Ava Gower, Charlie Hughes, Courtney Min, and working with the Union County Humane Society was Sarah Sivko. Working with I-9 Sports, we had Kiefer Brock, Rylan Brown, Mac Roush. Working with Linear One Technologies, we had Braden Clements, Will Feldschow, Hayden House, and Blaze Phillips. Working with Marysville Fire, we had Reese Andrews, Cody Bird, Mary Grimm, Jericho Librian, Justin Neal, Michaela Pepper, Emma Gracie Pope, Brennan Prohaska, and Livia Colley. Working with the Marysville Library, we had Ashlyn Holt, Emily McLaughlin, Mithunya Subhavathi Vijay, and then working with Memorial Health, we had Edna Amaglo, Ellie Arnall, Amelia Foss, Lauren Greenfield, and Florence Ways. Working with Moriroku Technology were Ellie Kingery and Megan Mackley. With Richwood Bank, we had Eric Shaw and Eric Starin. Working with the UC Foundation, we had Sophia Bakalas, Charlotte Ufinger, Trenton Inskeep, Dylan Kiss, Evelyn Mason, Kaylor Nemi, and Brady Watkins. And working with Weeks Plumbing, we had Brooklyn Ensel, Riley McGlone, Madison Roush, and Callan Williams. So again, these students were recognized for their work with STEM Solutions, working with our community partners, did an absolutely fantastic job coming up with solutions to some of those problems that our community partners presented to us. Okay, the next group that we're going to recognize are our OSLN Design Challenge winners. So if you're not aware, every year the Ohio STEM Learning Network puts out a design challenge to all of the STEM schools in the state and asks them to compete. So these were not only the winners for our particular building, but these guys also now are also the Central Hub winners. And we're going to find out in just a couple of weeks whether or not they are the state winners. So no pressure on these guys, but we've won the last 2 years, the state competition, so we're expecting big things here in a couple weeks. But those folks are Nitish Kalaram Senthil Kumar, Surya Laganand, Daria Patel, and Ethan Starin. And then last but not least, we had our group last year that actually won the OSLN state competition, that then took their state competition project and entered it into the state's invention convention project, and are actually being recognized by the state of Ohio Senate for the outstanding project that they put together. They actually did a project based on alternative power for the International Space Station. And when I listened to their project, I didn't understand any of it, so I knew it was probably a pretty good one. So we had Alex Dickinson, Marcus Josh Daniel Dazan, and Daria Patel.
I now recognize Dr. Howard for the Employee of the Month of January and February.
Yes, thank you, President Ferguson. I'll start with the month of February, and that is Becky Niekamp. And I wanted to share, as part of this resolution or proclamation that's issued to her, some of the comments about Becky, who serves as the head cook at our early college high school. Becky brings patience and kindness to her work each and every day, treating all students with care, respect, and genuine warmth. She goes out of her way to make students feel welcome, and her positive presence is often the first smile many of them see during the school day. Becky's warm personality and easy smile truly make our building a better place to be. In addition to her outstanding work with students, Becky is a strong team player who collaborates seamlessly with her colleagues. She is always willing to look out for both students and staff, stepping in to help whenever needed, and doing so with a positive attitude. Her commitment to teamwork and service exemplifies the values we strive to uphold as a school community. Becky's dedication, compassion, and professionalism make her an excellent choice for the Classified Employee of the Month, and we're fortunate to have her as such an important part of our school. Unfortunately, Becky is not able to be with us here this evening. However, I'd like to also recognize our January Employee of the Month, Miss Lori Potter. And I know I saw her come in, so I know she is here. So please don't be shy. Come on up here, Lori. Whereas Lori Potter is an employee of the Marysville Exempted Village School District working as the clinic aide at Naven Elementary, and whereas Lori has served the school district with much enthusiasm, dedication, and commitment in an effort to provide for the needs of the district, and whereas Lori has been nominated by her colleagues as Classified Employee of the Month, citing in their nominations that Lori handles everything from daily health needs to unexpected emergencies with confidence and kindness, always putting students first. She is amazing. She is so supportive of our students and treats them all as her own, whether they are come to her sick, hurt, sad, excited, or all the above. She meets them where they are and serves them. We are so lucky to have her at Naven. And I can attest that Lori is sort of like the Swiss Army knife, if you will, in the main office. So she's awesome. And so we have a certificate for her, and congratulations, Lori.
Thank you. Now we come to public participation. Do we have any members of the public that would like to address the board?
Ms. Jackson, do we have any public participants? No. Okay.
All right, seeing none, we will move to the superintendent's report. Dr. Howard.
All right, thank you, board. Earlier this evening, as you know, we learned that students at our early college high school have completed STEM challenges through partnering with local businesses or community services, and we're grateful for Second Chance Thrift Store, Better Than Yesterday, Union County Health Department, I-9 Sports, Linear One Technologies, Marysville Fire, Marysville Library, Memorial Health, Moraku Technology, Richwood Bank, the Union County Foundation, Weeks Plumbing, Invention Convention, and Ohio STEM Learning Network. In another example of our students having the opportunity to partner with local businesses, Pathways Financial Credit Union worked with our high school students to help them build an awareness of money management and personal financial stewardship. This is a partnership between the school and Pathways that has existed for 10 years. This is just one example of the work our staff and students are doing to help promote future readiness toward working on our first focus area of our strategic plan, which is MEVSD will provide challenging learning opportunities to prepare and empower each student to be future ready. We're so grateful for our businesses and our community leaders alike. Thank you for partnering with us to provide a more holistic education for our students with relevant and real-world learning opportunities. We believe that we're all better for partnering in education and not existing in a vacuum, but rather existing in large part to serve and improve the community that supports us. So thank you, businesses. And board, I also just wanted to briefly highlight, there are others that I believe Mrs. Shepherd is going to highlight, but one I want to tout is our cheerleading team. It's always nice to have our students compete outside of our community and reflect well upon our district, and so the entire world can see the great things going on here. Congratulations to our MHS cheer team who competed at the ESPN Wide World of Sports in Orlando in the National High School Cheerleading Championship. There were over 1,100 teams competing in the event, and our girls and Coach Kim Armstrong made it to the finals and earned 8th place in the nation in the game day competition. That was 2 weeks ago, so congratulations to them.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. Next, Treasurer's Report. Treasurer Johnson.
So for my report, I'm going to be presenting the February forecast. I have that up here in a sec. Okay, so there's a lot more slides and a lot more words than usual, but I don't plan to give an hour-long presentation. So this information, a lot of this was put in here so that people can reference back because there are just a lot more changes, a lot more legal updates than what we would normally see. So this will be available on the website, and somebody who really wants to dig into the weeds can do that. I'm going to stay a little more high level. So this first slide just discusses the change in law that changed the timeline of the forecast. So this year we had to do a forecast in October, and then we're required to do another forecast in February. Going forward, that timeline will change, and as far as permanent, based on current law, will be August and February. So that'll be our new timeline after this. A lot of slides regarding property tax legislation. We've talked about this a good bit already, so again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here, but there's multiple laws that changed, two specifically that really damaged our future revenues. These don't become law, they don't officially come into law until March 19th of 26. The Ohio Department of Taxation isn't going to be doing calculations until April. They have a deadline of April 20th to do the calculations that will impact our taxes. Numbers in a February forecast are as informed as can be. I plan to do another forecast in May once all of those numbers have been hashed out and we have definitive numbers. So this is the most informed forecast we can do at this time. Oh, and I should have said, if you have a question, feel free to interrupt, jump right in. House Bill 186 is the biggest and most immediate concern, and that one actually will claw back and people who paid taxes for this first half paid a full rate that did not have House Bill 186 in place. So the full effect of House Bill 186 will impact our second half collections. As a taxpayer, you will see a credit, and your tax bill for the second half will actually go down compared to what was paid for the first half, which also in turn significantly decreases our revenues for our second half collections. House Bill 129 targets property taxation. This one affects how emergency levies, or basically impacts how districts are counted on the 20 mil floor. It makes it so that emergency levies would now count against the 20 mil floor. In essence, Marysville Schools was on the 20 mil floor and technically currently is on the 20 mil floor, but this will come into effect for us with the new reappraisal in 2028, taking us off of the 20 mil floor, and that will cost us close to $7.6 million in this forecast compared to October. Okay. House Bill 186, talked about that already a little bit. So in essence, what 186 is doing is capping the growth that a district would, revenue growth that a district would receive by being on the 20 mil floor. That's capped at a GDP, gross domestic product deflation factor. For perspective, that number is projected to be 13% for this current year. That number would have been, the growth that we would have been projecting in this forecast would have been 26% because of the reappraisal, but because of House Bill 186, that number basically was cut in half down to 13%. So I note in here, I think there's some things with this law that will probably have to be tweaked and worked out by the legislature to see how it's going to be implemented long term. The current forecast assumes it's going to cost us $4.3 million in fiscal year 27. I would say this forecast isn't a worst case scenario because there is a potential that the House Bill 186 would impact us even more, up to a potential close to $13 million reduction in the forecast. And again, hopefully we'll have more authoritative numbers in April. This slide just talks more about how 186 is going to impact taxpayers this year. And also, another part of 186 was a change to the rollback structure. From a financial standpoint, this doesn't really have an impact on our district, or it shouldn't. From a taxpayer standpoint, in 2030, certain taxpayers, elderly and economically disadvantaged, may get a slight decrease in their taxes, and that would be subsidized by the state. But again, really no impact on our forecast with that part of the bill. House Bill 309, we haven't talked a lot about this one, but this is where the new law that basically expanded powers of the County Budget Commission. The County Budget Commission is made up of the county auditor, county treasurer, and county prosecutor. What this bill basically does is gives them the power to basically ensure that schools aren't over-collecting, collecting more money, more tax dollars than what they need. There's certain guidelines that are in place. Again, I don't anticipate this would have a large factor in our district based on our current forecast. And then House Bill 335, very similar to House Bill 186, where House Bill 186 is capping growth on 20 mil floor. This 335 is capping growth on the inside millage. Works essentially the same. If you look at our 5-year forecast, we're going to be now assuming our growth based on a GDP factor, not based on what we think a county reappraisal is going to be. So that in essence will take House Bill 335 is already taken into account into the forecast. Funding schools in the future. Again, I'm not going to go into great detail on this slide, but there were a lot of changes made to the types of levies and things that could be done. Ultimately, what you're probably going to see is that a lot of districts are, emergency levies are not totally out of the picture, but you have to be a district on like fiscal emergency to be able to do an emergency levy. I think what you're also going to see is a lot more districts will be going for income tax, a school district income tax, because the way that this is now set up, you're not able to see annual growth with levies. The only levy that really allows for growth now is an income tax. So I think that's going to be the trend you're going to start seeing, unless the legislature decides to change the laws around income tax as well. The House Bill 96, the fiscal year 26-27 state budget, was not very helpful to the district. We were really not seeing much increase in state funding, which I'll show in a later slide. They also did create what's called a piggyback tax exemption law. Fortunately, our county commissioners did not enact this, but what it basically did was allow the county commissioners to expand the homestead exemption at the expense of a school district and other taxing entities. So what that would have done is given basically a tax exemption or a tax subsidy to homeowners, certain homeowners, and then that would have been paid for by the district, or in essence decreased our revenue. That would have cost us over $600,000. And again, thankfully, the county commissioners did not enact that, but again, that's a risk in the forecast because that could be enacted in future years. So finally done with all the legal update slides. So this is just a real high-level look at the forecast. The blue line represents revenues, red line represents expenditures, and the green line represents our ending cash balance. As you can see, every year in the forecast, except for a couple in the past, the red line expenditures exceeds revenues. That's called an operating deficit. That means that we're eating into our cash balance, which is why you see that green line dipping. Out there in fiscal year 29, we're just barely positive, about a little over $1 million there, and in fiscal year 30, we've got over a $10 million cash deficit projected. The biggest impact to that cash balance and why you're seeing it drop so quickly is House Bill 129 and House Bill 186. So the legislature really attacked our funding, and it really impacted our revenue growth that we were projecting to receive. And even with the new levy that was just passed last May, you can see we still have expenditures exceeding revenues. So there's, even with the levy, there's no year in the forecast where we're going to have revenues exceed expenditures. Two biggest drivers for that being House Bill 186 and 129, but also taking over the preschool that we were forced to do beginning this year. So if you look at the revenue, this is specifically looking at revenue, not even looking at expenditures. The blue line there is what our revenue projections in the October forecast. So that was the forecast I presented last October. So then the orange or yellow line there is the revenue projections for this year. So this, I'm presenting this to show, someone that just looks at the ending cash balance, why does the forecast look so bad after we just passed the levy? This is the reason why, and it's due to the two House bills we just talked about. Not seeing that growth that we were projecting to have decrease that revenue significantly lower than where we were going to be. And I think it's fair to ask the question, what is a reasonable and functional revenue? Let's see what happened here. Okay, so what would be a reasonable or functional revenue trend for a growing school district like Marysville? What type of revenue trend would we be able to sustain? So the red line there shows if we just had a 3% inflationary growth. If we were to just have that, that's what that line would look like. But you can see, due to those House bills, that yellow line, we're well below even a 3% inflationary growth. We're significantly below that. And then also it's worth pointing out, any of those three scenarios, any of those scenarios, we're still having expenditures exceed revenues. So I've said it many times, and I'll continue to say it, we have a revenue problem. And as I've mentioned, we currently have the second lowest revenue per pupil in the state. And again, just pointing out that revenues do not exceed expenditures in the forecast under any of those scenarios. Just to give a little bit of a timeline as to how we got here and why these changes had such an impact on the district. So it was January of 25. There's regulations in state law as to when you have to make a levy resolution. So it was in January of 25 that the district decided on the 5.5 mil levy. It was in March of 25 that we found out that we were going to have to take over the preschool. So that was $3.5 million of annual costs that were not considered when the district decided on the 5.5 mil levy. So that was a significant impact after the levy. So the levy was passed in May of 2025, and then it was not until December of 25 that we found out that House Bill 186 and these property tax reform laws were going to come into play. And then in House Bill 129, while we're aware, it won't impact the district until 2028. So if you combine the impact of the preschool with those two House bills, essentially it mutes the benefit of the levy. And again, had we known these things were going to take place back in January of 25, that levy would have looked different, obviously. So this slide shows the gain of the levy versus the two losses we just talked about. So the blue bar shows the levy revenue that would be from fiscal year 27 through fiscal year 30. So you're 27, a small number, 27,200,000. Okay, the line on the right there is split between the two factors I just mentioned. So the preschool expenses during that same 4-year period is $14 million. And then the impact of House Bill 186 and 129 in that same period is $13,280,000. So while we gain from the levy $27,200,000, we're losing from these two factors $27,280,000. So that's how we got here with the current forecast.
Todd, you said that your anticipation of what we could lose is still a conservative estimate, so it could be more than that.
Potentially could be more, yes. Oops, wrong button. Okay, this ending cash balance slide is really pointed towards our ending cash balance policy, or our cash balance policy, I should say. Two factors there. One is expenditures are not supposed to exceed revenues by more than 1%. We don't meet that in any year of the forecast, so that's the one component of the cash balance policy we're not meeting. The other component is to have 1 month of expenditures as an ending cash balance. We meet that through fiscal year 28. We get to fiscal year 29, even though we're still positive, we're not at that 1 month of expenditures. We would need to be probably around 6 or 7 million to meet that. And then in fiscal year 30, obviously, with a negative cash balance, we're not going to meet that as well. Looking at general fund revenue sources for the year. Okay. I've talked in the past about our TPP reimbursement going away. Fiscal year 25 was the final year of that, so that's $463,000 of money that's gone. It's worth pointing out that was state funding, so just another source of state funding that's gone away and kind of pushing more towards the local side. House Bill 96, the state funding formula, has us on the formula for fiscal year 26. So when I say on the formula, that means if you get a new student, you get more money. If you lose a student, you lose money. But we're projected to be on the guarantee in fiscal year 27 and beyond. So being on the guarantee means that the formula calculates you should receive X number of dollars, but we're going to receive, which that number is lower than what we're going to receive. So let me put that maybe more easily to understand. So because we look more wealthy as a district, because our property tax valuations went up significantly with the revaluation, our local share went up, meaning we should be paying more locally. They're going to give us less money from the state side. So the formula calculates we should be receiving less money each year, but that guarantee comes in place and basically is a stop that says, well, you should be receiving less, but you're on the guarantee, so we're going to stop you right there. So what that means is the number won't go below that number as long as that guarantee is in place, but we're also likely not to go above it unless we saw a significant increase in students, and I mean significant, not just like 50 students, or if they'd make a change to the formula.
So I guess that's a question. The formula does not take into account the reductions that we're seeing from those House bills. Is that correct?
Correct, and that's something we'll hit on another slide, but I can talk about it now. It's it's been called phantom revenue before. So the formula assumes that you're getting all this new money because the valuations in your district went way up. So the formula assumes you're getting that money, but because of these new House bills, you're only getting about half of what we would have been getting. So the formula thinks we're wealthier as a district, assuming we're getting that money, which means that then they'll give us less state funding, but we're actually not getting it. So it's kind of a double loss. We're losing the local funding, but we're also losing some state funding as well.
So I think, Tad, what you said at the beginning of this is a revenue problem, and also looking at that relative to the fact that we're the second lowest per student spend.
Second lowest
per revenue.
Per revenue. On the expenditure side, we're in the I think we're maybe in the bottom 8%, like maybe 43rd.
That doesn't tie for me when we're thinking that we're on paper, we look like the wealthiest or one of the wealthiest. So
Right.
I think that's a tension that we've got, but definitely this feels not like an expenditure issue. This is definitely a revenue component.
Yeah, and the idea of the wealthiest comes into play. The state's looking at property tax values, or property valuations, I should say, as well as median income. Mm-hmm. So what they're saying with wealthy is saying, well, as a community, you appear wealthy compared to other school districts in the state, so you should be able to pay a higher share locally. We'll give you a lower share from the state, whereas, for example, Southeast Ohio, where I come from, property values are lower, incomes are lower. The state's going to give them a higher percentage of state funding and expect them to be able to contribute less from a local property tax standpoint.
And I'm assuming that the tax funding formula also does not take into consideration the $12 million in TIF money that we're not receiving?
No, it does not. So the forecast assumes growth of 50 new students per year. So that's what's in the forecast. We have a recent enrollment study done. The 50 is a little bit conservative, and it's just a set number. The enrollment projection gives varying numbers. So one year it might be 80, one year it might be, so it just varies. So this is a little bit conservative.
I guess a question on that, though, with all the building that's going on in our communities, both residential and rental properties, is that taken into account? Does that get tied up?
It does, but at the same time, you would have to do a new enrollment study every 6 months probably to really, at the rate that we're growing, to really take into account some of those things that are, coming online. So the enrollment study was done less than a year ago, so it's pretty accurate, but at the same time, there are some pretty big developments that would not have been included in there.
I would encourage us to not take a conservative approach on the number of students that are coming in based on that growth. We may want to be, I guess, conservatism as not taking the low. Let's go with conservative approach of taking a higher number in that to account for that growth.
Yep. And it's also worth pointing out when we talk about the state funding, fiscal year 27 next year is the last year of the current biennial budget, which means fiscal year 28 will be a new biennial budget, new state budget. There could be an entirely new funding formula. We really don't know. But again, this forecast assumes we're on the guarantee on the current state funding formula, but we'll see. This slide compares our local funding versus state funding. So on the local side, you've got mostly your property taxes make up the majority of that, but then also interest revenue is somewhat significant, about $1.6 million this year. Student fees, that kind of thing. On the state funding side, our state funding sources have been reduced. As I mentioned, the tangible personal property reimbursement's gone away. So really you're looking at our state funding formula as well as the homestead and rollback reimbursement that we get. You can see there, it used to be a relatively even split, although more local. With the levy, the local side revenue has gone up, but you're seeing the state funding go down slightly. So what you're seeing is a bigger tax burden on our local taxpayers, and with the state paying less. And this slide here, I just show the impact of, I hate to keep bringing this up because it happened long ago, but this really is worth bringing up now because what's happened to us with House Bill 186 and 129 really harkens back to House Bill 66, which was when TPP taxes were eliminated. So when that happened, that cost the district about $9 million per year, although it was phased out over time. This new property tax legislation is really the most damaging legislation to the district since House Bill 66. We've talked about the recent revaluation from the county auditor. Property values were up a little over 26%. Again, we're on the 20 mil floor for Class 1 residential values. But again, that will change with House Bill 129. Will take us off of the floor at least temporarily. The next update is in 2028. And by 129 taking us off of the floor, that took about $5.05 million in tax revenue out of the forecast per year beginning in fiscal year 29. Looking at expenditures, overall expenditures are down slightly compared to what I presented in October. The main driver for that is our health insurance. We were projecting a 9% increase, ended up with a 0% beginning this January. So that was great news, very significant savings. Still projecting 9% in each following year in the forecast. That's always a volatile area, so that could create major swings one way or the other. if a person were to look at the forecast, the details, and again, that's available on the website and on the Ohio Department of Education and everywhere, I think one thing a person might look at would be expenditures. You look back at fiscal 25 expenditures and then look to fiscal 27. Well, why did that number go up so much? The two big drivers there. Preschool, as I mentioned, so we took on the preschool from Harold Lewis beginning this year, so that was about $3.5 million of expenditures that got added into the forecast. And then also after the levy passed, we brought back our SROs. Although those are not fully in place yet, we did bring back half of the SROs beginning this year. And then the forecast going forward, we're assuming new hires, 6 new hires per year due to growth. This is a slide that looks at the ending cash balance and days cash on hand. So when we say days cash on hand, we're saying how many days worth of expenditures could you handle if basically revenue stopped and you were using your cash balance. GFOA, which is the Government Finance Officers Association, they recommend 60 days of expenditures as a cash balance. Our cash balance policy is more conservative and recommends 30 days, so 1 month. So you can see there in fiscal year 28, which is just 2 years away, we're above with 47, but then the following year, fiscal year 29, we only have about 7 days of cash on hand projected, and then again, we would be negative the following year. This is just basically a high-level overview of everything I just said, so I'm not going to read that again, but that you could look at that and kind of encapsulates some of the issues I talked about. And that's it. Any questions? Thank you.
Am I hearing no questions? All right.
I have one question. So thinking through this and the picture, it seems that action needs to be taken from a Marysville community standpoint to address the revenue. Is that correct? And what are we looking at from timeline standpoint?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that we make any major decisions off of a February forecast because we won't know how did those Ohio Department of Taxation calculations until April. So that's why I intend to do an updated forecast around that May timeline. I think we're probably going to want to have a work session in the coming months to talk about our operating deficit, looking at revenues, looking at expenditures, what are our options, put all options out on the table. I mean, we'll have to educate the community that, what you're getting is not possible based on the current revenue. So we have to decide, do we want to continue operations as they are and change revenue, or do we keep revenue as it is and change the services that are provided? I mean, there's really the two options.
I think one of the issues I have is that I think all community members need to be educated on the changes and what they're proposing and everything. But I think our legislators need educated on what our communities are facing. They're making changes that don't make sense. So I think our community needs to reach out to our legislators and educate them on what our community is facing. The school funding formula makes no sense. These House bills that are on the table right now make no sense. They just muddy the waters and make it more confusing for everyone. How can you educate people on all these different things? Rolling back, I mean, those of us who paid our tax bill last month, I'm like, okay, so I got to pay an extra $3,000, but I'm going to get a credit later this year. I mean, that makes no sense. So those people down at the State House, they don't know what they're doing, and they were given a timeline to come up with a solution, and their solution makes no sense. So we as a community need to contact our legislators, tell them, come up with something better, something that makes sense, that's simplified. They've had 30 years to come up with something better, and they're not doing it. So we as a community need to band together, call our legislators, tell them to fix things, because what they're proposing does not work. The formula does not work. We may appear to be a wealthy community, but because of the TIFs, the city is taking a lot of money from that budget. $12 million a year we are losing to the city. And that's another thing. You can contact your local legislators and demand that they give some of that money back to our school, because that's a lot of money. In an $80 million budget, $12 million is going to the city instead of your school district. We wouldn't have to worry about a new levy if that money was coming into our budget. So that's my 2 cents.
I was going to share, Tanya, you don't know this, Jermaine's aware of Dr. Howard, Mr. Johnson, but after our February meeting, I contacted Governor DeWine's office and the Superintendent of Public Instruction, Dr. Kraft's office, and I don't know, they responded, I applaud them. I would say we made our concerns known, definitely didn't move the needle at all, but I'm not going to give up, I'll tell you that. I'm going to keep trying.
Well, thank you, Mr. Johnson. And this is an action item under our Board of Education items. So if you have other questions, think about them. And when we get to that part, you can ask them, and that's when we take official action. Moving on, Board President Report. Give me a few seconds. So first, we wanted to kind of talk about Calamity Days. I don't know if you noticed, but there was like another winter break that we enjoyed, or at least our kids enjoyed, correct? With nice snow, good snow accumulation, and some very cold days. So we just wanted to update the public about Calamity Days. Our district tracks the number of hours of instruction for our students. So I believe, yep, here it is. During the 2014-15 year, our legislators changed the law from counting calamity days to the minimum number of instructional hours per year by grade level. Ohio school districts are required to provide the following by grade level. From kindergarten to 6th grade, it's a minimum of 912 hours, or 910 hours. Our school calendar provides 169.17 hours of instruction beyond the state minimum. This is equivalent to up to 27.43 quote-unquote calamity days that may be used. Our district has 23.46 calamity days remaining to be used should the need arise. I'm just going to stop there. That's a pretty significant amount of time.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, years ago, as you referenced, you had to attend a requisite number of days, but if the student's instructional school day is longer each day, that gives us a lot of flexibility because our school day tends to be longer than many other districts.
Now for grades 7 through 12, the minimum number of hours is 1,001. Our school calendar provides 107 hours above the state minimum at Bunsold Middle School and 136 hours above the state minimum for our high school students. Our district has over 21 calamity days available for grades 7 through 12. Our district has 17 calamity days remaining to be used if needed. So I think that's also a complexity. It's not one size fit all. It's per grade, and so that's interesting to be able to gauge and calculate. All this to say, even with the large snowstorm that impacted our community during the week of January 26, we're well above the minimum number of hours needed. We also assigned 3 remote learning days to be used on days 4, 5, and 6 when schools were closed over the week. And these days did not count towards the lost instructional hours. The assignment was simple: enjoy a good, old-fashioned snow day by encouraging students to help their families in ways they wouldn't normally, take extra time to read, find ways to exercise or move their bodies, and lastly, if it was safe to do so, help a neighbor or local business by assisting with snow removal, which we know that was a need in our community. The remote assignment was very well received. and our district posted pictures on social media that families shared with us, capturing the work being done during these days. Taking care of the mental health and finding ways to contribute to our community are important components of the work we do. I also want to thank the families that actually submitted those photos and videos. It was nice to see those updates. One objective of our focus area, student learning, in our strategic plan is character development. Remote learning day assignments were an example of students learning and serving beyond the classroom in partnership with our families. I'll stop there. Are there any questions about Calamity Days from anyone on the board? Hearing none, I'll move on. Next, I would like to just address kind of school safety. Last Friday, the district was alerted regarding a school threat hoax. I want to thank the Marysville Police Division and our district administration for their expertise and quick response in assessing the threat, determining it not to be credible, increasing security, and ultimately bringing the suspect into custody. I appreciate the joint communication that proactively informed the community about the events that transpired. While incidents like these are deeply alarming, it should be noted that no students, staff, or community members were ever in real danger. While I do not know and may never understand the intentions behind the hoax, I am grateful for the professionalism and collaboration between our district and the Marysville Police Division to ensure student safety and to limit unnecessary disruptions. Community coffee. This last Sunday, board members, we host our monthly community coffee, and member McIntosh and I were present. 2 families attended, shared questions regarding their students, and for those matters that needed to follow up, we handed them to our superintendent, Dr. Howard, and which would pass to the building principals. So we just, again, these are great events to come and speak your mind, or you drive the agenda for these community coffees. And if there are any questions and concerns, we always encourage you to kind of focus in the buildings and then kind of escalate as you see fit. Work session. Earlier today, we met at 4 p.m. and we're still here. We held a work session to review governance protocols, to discuss our board community engagement plan, which includes kind of our district communications. We listened or kind of received an update from our Jennifer economist who runs our district communications. And also we're looking at how are we going to do community engagement as a board this year moving forward. We also just received a level setting update of superintendent treasurer goals because 3 of us are new and 2 of us are fairly new. So we just all are all on the same page. Any comments from any of the community coffee or work session from board members? Okay. Then I did include some professional development opportunities. There's School Finance 101 on February 26th if anyone wants to learn about school finance. There's special education. There's the Beyond Basic masterclass for board members on March 7th. And then our Central Region Spring Conference is March 18th. And I think Matt and I will be attending the State Legislative Conference on March 24th. Lastly, I'm going to end my report with our vision statement. The district's vision statement is, each child at Marysville schools will be challenged, prepared, and empowered through innovation, collaboration, and inspiration. Innovation to ignite their curiosity, collaboration to strengthen their capacity, inspiration to empower their confidence, and fortitude toward the future. So as we do these meetings and the work of this board, let's keep that vision in mind. Thank you. Next, Student Achievement Report. Board Member Shepherd.
Thank you. I think we saw a lot of student achievement tonight from the students from the STEM school. Very impressive amount of work in. Maybe we'll hear some good news from them at the state level here in a couple weeks. I think it's fun, if you're on social media, it's fun to watch all the seniors now. Their ECHS and MHS are posting about our seniors and kind of what their plans are for after high school, which is fun to watch and see what they have planned for themselves. Bunsold, the Team M, 8th graders, so 8th grade M, continued what I learned is a 10-year tradition of making fleece blankets for the My Very Own Blanket program. They make blankets for kids in the foster care system that they can take with them from placement to placement. And it said they made dozens and dozens of blankets. So congrats to those kids. What a nice way to give back to the community. It's parent-teacher conference time, so lots of opportunities to talk about how well our students are doing and work on areas to collaborate between home and school. And then some exciting news outside of the cheerleaders, which congratulations to all of them. In swim, there were 8 individual swimmers and 5 relays that qualified for the district meet. That's this weekend at OU. Maddie Forrester, a gymnast, placed 4th in the vault at OCC's. Our boys and girls are both OCC wrestling champs. We had a lot of senior nights recently, boys and girls basketball, cheer, and bowling. And the Swingers Unlimited, Swingers Select, and Bunsold Mini Swingers have had a really great start to their season. They've already been winning awards pretty much everywhere they go. I think they win something. So I know the showcase and community concert are in March before we meet again. So I think it's a little less than a month from now. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll recognize Board Member Keller for legislative report.
Primarily, what I was reading from the state level as far as legislative updates is what Mr. Johnson already shared with us, how House Bill 129 and 186 are affecting school districts. That's effective March 20th. And one thing that they just highlighted to board members that follow this information is we need to educate our community. That's the 5 of us, an extension of our admin team, about how these changes affect us. Because as we saw tonight from Mr. Johnson, it's having an effect on us. And I still will not continue to give up and try and advocate for our students and their needs. That's pretty much the essentials that was in the legislative report. I'll always share more than is needed in the document I share with all of you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? All right, hearing none. I have a recommendation to approve the draft minutes of January 15th regular meeting, January 19th special meeting, and January 22nd special meeting as submitted by Todd Johnson, our treasurer.
I'll motion.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Ms. Shepherd? Yes. Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes. Thank you. The motion is adopted. The minutes are adopted. Now we're moving to education items. We have a recommendation to approve the financial forecast. Treasurer Johnson, do you have any additional comments?
I don't have anything additional unless there's questions.
Board members, are there questions? Or actually, I need a motion to approve the forecast.
Motion to approve?
We have a motion.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. I think most of the questions were answered. Roll call, please.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes. Thank you. The financial forecast is approved. Next, I have a recommendation to approve resolutions to file complaints against the valuation of real property tax for tax year 2025.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in second. For discussion, I'll refer to Treasurer Johnson.
Yeah, so this is something that the district has done for a long time, but due to legislation a few years ago, now we have to bring it to the board for approval. In essence, what we're doing, this is for commercial, for businesses, where a commercial entity purchased a property at a certain sale price, which was at least $500,000 more than what the current value is. So we're basically appealing to the Board of Revisions, to the county, saying this should be valued at a higher rate, which means that commercial entity would be paying a higher amount of taxes to the district. So in essence, this is just making sure everybody's paying their fair share, and it helps all of our taxpayers by making sure everybody's paying their fair share.
Are there any questions?
Was it all properties listed that were in the exceeding of that $500,000 of the current value, or did you go through a process to select which ones?
It's all. So
Okay.
we try to be basically unbiased by making sure that we're selecting all. But it does not include residential properties.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes. The motion is adopted. Next, we have a first read of policies. There's no motion required, but I will refer to Superintendent Howard.
Yeah, thank you, Board. Before you this evening, there are 6 policies that we're asking you to just do a reading this evening. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. And then I also like to always remind everybody that pretty much every district in the state of Ohio has a board policy review service. OSBA has one. There's another one out there called Neola. But there's legal team members that are part of this, and they make recommendations to revise local board policies just to make sure that you're in compliance. But happy to answer any questions you may have on these 6.
Are there any questions? All right, the first reading has been conducted. Next, we have a motion or a recommendation to approve board policies.
I'll motion.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Dr. Howard, any discussion?
None other than due to the dates required by law, it's an imperative that we go ahead and approve this. This particular one is related to procurement and administration of overdose drugs. It's a legislative change. Districts are required to have this policy approved.
Are there any questions by board members? Questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, the policies are adopted. I now have a recommendation to approve the asphalt bid resolution. Dr. Howard for explanation.
Yeah, Board, we are really excited with the interest in the, as far as contractors to put a bid in. This is for replacing the asphalt at Marysville High School. And I believe, don't quote me, but there were at least 8 to 10 that put interest. I think we received 8 bids, and we put before you what we believe to be the most competitive bid. There's a tally and a review and a process that goes into awarding that, but this is the recommendation for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. Are there any questions or comments from board members?
When is it anticipated that the project will be done?
It would be pretty much as soon as school's out and they can get access to it. Yeah.
Can you just explain where the funds come from for this type of project?
This comes out of the Permanent Improvement Fund, which is essentially a taxpayer-funded fund that it has to be used for capital projects, things like buying school buses, doing asphalt, fixing roofs, those kinds of things. And this project is something that's been planned with our permanent improvement forecast or our regular maintenance schedule.
In the coming months, we'll have a presentation about our PI fund as well. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Did we do a motion on that one? We haven't done a motion yet.
I'm so sorry.
I'll motion.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. We have had discussion, but we're now officially having discussion. And no questions, roll call, please.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes. The resolution is adopted. I now have a recommendation to approve the Marysville High School HVAC ground unit replacement resolution. Do we have a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Discussion. Dr. Howard.
Yes, Board, these, before you is a resolution to approve 3 HVAC ground units to be replaced at Marysville High School as well. Marysville High School is going to be a busy place this summer. One of the benefits as a district, we are a part of the Union County Council of Governments, or the COG, and that allows us to get consortium pricing. And so this would be through Train Technologies as far as securing these units.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. Are there any board member questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Shepherd? Yes. Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes. The resolution is adopted. Thank you. Now I have a recommendation to approve the appointment of Taylor Tharp to the Marysville Public Library Board of Trustees term ending December 31st, 2030. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and second. Discussion.
I had the opportunity to sit in on the interviews, and I think Taylor will be a great addition to the library board.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes. The appointment is approved. Thank you. Now, sorry, we have some people in the audience waiting for this one, and thinking now I should have done this a different way, but we're here. So thank you for your patience. It's our pleasure to, actually, I have a recommendation to approve National FFA Week proclamation. If we can get this motion accepted, I will then read the resolution.
Motion?
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved in second. So under discussion, let me just read this. Whereas Future Farmers of America, FFA, and agriculture education provide a strong foundation for the youth of America and the future of food, fiber, and natural resources systems. Whereas FFA promotes premier leadership, personal growth, and career success among its members. And whereas agricultural education and FFA ensure a steady supply of young professionals to meet the growing needs in the science, business, and technology of agriculture. And whereas the FFA motto, learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, living to serve, gives direction and purpose to these students who take an active role in succeeding in agricultural education. And whereas FFA promotes citizenship, volunteerism, patriotism, and cooperation. And whereas the Marysville FFA chapter was established in 1940 and has served thousands of students, many who now give back through membership and service in the Marysville Ag Boosters and FFA alumni. Whereas the Marysville FFA chapter has a current membership of 100 students and 665 students enrolled in agricultural science courses and has contributed over 260 hours of community service and had a direct economic impact of $423,161 in the 2024-2025 school year. And whereas in November 2025, the Marysville FFA chapter was named top 10 in the nation for the second time within the last 3 years and the third time in program history. Whereas the Marysville FFA chapter in agricultural science provides its students meaningful leadership development, community service, real-world experience, and skills to be future-ready no matter which career path the student ultimately pursues. And now, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Marysville Exempted Village School District proudly supports the Marysville FFA chapter in agricultural education and does hereby designate the week of February 21st through 28th, 2026 as National FFA Week. Any discussion by Dr. Howard?
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. Board, as you well know, our FFA program is led by 4 outstanding educators. 3 of them are out in the audience this evening, so I want to recognize them. Sherry Anderson, Mary Gist, and Ashley Thompson. We also have Justin Beckner, who is at the high school as well, but Justin has an infant son, so we're going to definitely give him a pass on that. But also sitting in the audience here is Graydon McCreary. Creighton is a junior, and we have Abby Thompson, who's a senior. Trying to find a way that we can redshirt Abby because I love having her around here. These students have a special place in my heart, Board. When I was onboarding over the summer at the Union County Fair, they were among the first monarchs I met in the goat barn, so I remember that well. But it's an awesome program, as you well know, and very deserving, so I appreciate the board doing this.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. Any discussions from the board members?
I just commend you guys and congratulations, and you will never regret the time you spent in FFA, and the skills that you've learned will carry you through and serve you well in the rest of your life. So well done.
So we're going to have a vote. Hopefully this passes because it'll be awkward if it doesn't. And then we'll go down and take a picture with our FFA students, representatives. Roll call, please.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, the resolution is adopted. Thank you. Let's take a moment to do a picture. Again, thank you. Now I have a recommendation to approve the Treasurer CFO action items.
All motion.
Second?
It's been properly moved in second. Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, the only thing I would highlight, unless there are any questions, is an appropriation increase. We're always looking to take advantage of any grants we could find. To be honest, grants have dried up a little bit compared to what they used to be, but there are 2 grants in there that we're asking to increase the budget for. One is a relatively small safety grant for school buses, about $30,000. And then there's also a career tech equipment grant that will allow us to purchase equipment to help with a career tech pathway.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Are there any questions or comments from board members? I just want to recognize that there's several community donations from the Eagles Benevolence Charity, Safe Life Foundation, Neaton Auto Products, Greenville Tech, Marysville Moose Lodge, Mac 4 Designs, and Impact 60 and Daniels Automotive, as well as Memorial Hospital, Monarch Diamond Club, the Union County Mental Health Board, and ASM Materials Teacher Grant. So we're very thankful for our community partners and their relationship and investment into our students. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes. The Treasurer CFO action items are approved. Thank you. Now I have a recommendation to approve all superintendent action items.
Motioned?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Discussion, Dr. Howard.
Yeah, board, before you is the standing human resource items attached, our volunteer listings. We love our volunteers. There are 9. Congratulations to these students, 3 from Marysville High School, 6 from Early College High School. They are listed as early high school graduates. We have the standing every single year member schools of Ohio High School Athletic Association have to repledge to remain members of OHSAA, so that is on there. We have requests to approve our SAC program fees, facility use agreement for the Columbus Japanese Language School facility. We have 3 intern student-teacher field placements. We love working with our college and universities for that. There are 5 overnight trips included as well, but happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. Are there any questions from board members? I think as a father who has 5 kids in daycare, I think it's impressive to see the SAC program has no increase to tuition prices, and it's self-funded. And so I think thank you to our district and the SAC program for being able to keep those rates the same.
And if I can just add to that real fast, just so people out there, if you don't know what SAC program is, but it's basically before and after school care for the littles. That's pretty obvious, but then we are also open where we can calamity days, summer camp, and then off days, for like professional development throughout the year. So it's a great service, we think, to our stakeholders that need to make use of it.
I also will echo Jermaine's comments. I've had 2 children go through the SAC summer program. It is a fantastic program. The quality of the staff, the students that participate in that, but also the educational opportunities that they're doing. It's not just staying in the classroom. They're actually out the weekly field trips, this time at the Marysville pool. So you're really leveraging the resources around Marysville, and I probably gave it too much of a advertisement, so I'll have to make sure I get my spot in there. But it really is a fantastic program at a very low cost, so thank you for continuing to do that.
Absolutely. Treasurer Johnson and I love having the littles here in this building throughout the summer. It brings extra energy, doesn't it?
Are there any other questions or comments by board members? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes. The superintendent action items are approved. Now, comments and questions from board members. We'll start with Ms. Shepherd.
I want to echo what Matt and Tanya were saying as far as making sure we're all educated on what's happening at the State House and being willing to be uncomfortable and make phone calls and letters and emails to our representatives so that our voices continue to be heard.
Thank you. Mr. Keller?
An exciting time of year as we're finishing winter season for a lot of sports and extracurriculars. I wish all those students and coaches best of luck. And to our students, those days off, I'm sure what was a bit of a reset button, and hopefully they enjoyed them, the families too.
Thank you. Ms. Mabry?
As I've had a little bit of time to be out in the sun down in Florida and kind of refill my cup, I just want to encourage people to come together and be united as a community. I know most of us really love our community, but sometimes we can lash out at one another and we can be negative. I just really want to see us come together, even when we don't agree, even when we don't have the same politics or the same belief system. But together we can do great things. And I just really want to see us to come together no matter what, and put our differences aside and listen. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So no matter what happens, what's going on in our personal lives, just, be kind, be neighborly, and just come together, and because we can be an amazing community and we can do so much together if we just be kind.
Thank you. Ms. McIntosh?
It has been a fun first 4 weeks. I think it's official. So a lot of education. Thank you to my board members and superintendent and our treasurer for bringing me up to speed as fast as possible. I will continue to ask lots of questions, so please be mindful and patient with me. I know we went through our student development. I do want to call out the bowling team, which I am thoroughly impressed with the quality of the bowlers that we have. Go on, look at their sites, but they're bowling some serious games, I think over 300 I've seen. So huge kudos to them and to all our both athletes and participants in the various opportunities. I did get the opportunity to see the 5th, 6th grade production of Moana, which I have to say was amazing, and I have to continue to remind myself that they're only 5th and 6th graders. So just a tremendous amount of talent that we have in this community. And as we look at the financial position, which could be doom and gloom, really thinking about all what makes Marysville special, and then let's take a step back, let's get educated, and really consider what are our options as we're moving into April and look forward to the revised forecast. But we're going to have some discussions that we're going to have as a collective community, and it's going to take all of us to maintain that and ensure that the students who we're here for get the full value. So thank you guys. Look forward to continuing to work with you, but again, thank you so much for helping me come up to speed so quickly.
Thank you. My first comment is really kind of a community-focused one. I don't know if a few of you know, but in 2022, Honda partnered with the Harvard Institute for Public Innovation and released a report, Moving Forward in Union County, Forging a Shared Path. That kind of, they did an assessment, community groups, community focus groups, and then create this report, and then brought members together who kind of wanted to do the work of community, and they were divided into different teams. We had the Union Youth Team, United Way, Arts Team, and Health Team. And yesterday I attended, I was a part of it from the early, and then we had a levy. I don't know if you know about that, but we had years of levies, so I kind of was trying to participate as best as I could. But yesterday we went to an event, and it kind of was the conclusion or the celebration of 2 years of the Harvard Institute kind of working together. And a key theme, now the work's not over, is just now we're all empowered, or the people in Union County are empowered to continue doing the work. And a key takeaway was listen, reflect, act, and just get small wins, and it gains momentum. And then you can continue that process, listen, reflect, act. And so without authentic listening, you don't know which action is. You don't come to the table with a ready, here's your solution. You have to start with listening. And so I think that was kind of impactful throughout my last 2 years, kind of in and out of engagement with the Harvard Institute. So they have a story of change reports. Kind of, you can find this online, or if you follow the United Way Ohio, United Way Union County page or email, you have more information and opportunities to kind of plug in and do that work. My second is to thank you to the board. So as you can see, most of us are new, and this is our first meeting kind of together in an official regular meeting session. And each of us, I think we have 4 parents of school-age kids reflected on this board. We have a business owner. We all have unique skill sets that we're bringing to the table, from a business community, a parent, community member, a business owner, even education background. I think our board is very well positioned to listen, reflect, and act in the coming years to solve the problems that and opportunities that this district will face. That concludes my remarks. Now I have a recommendation to adjourn. Does anyone want to take a motion on that one?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. This meeting is adjourned at 7:24 p.m. Thank you.